Your morning starts now with David Marr. Golf news and insight that only he can provide. It's Mornings with Marr on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio.
Thanks for joining us. Top of the second hour here at 7 o'clock Eastern on this Friday, November 16th. And I am pleased to be joined by a guy who I spent time with doing some interviews and hanging around when I was with Golf Channel early in my career there before I went on PGA Tour Champions and followed that tour. 866-469-0026. You want to program that in your phone because you're going to get a chance to talk to me, but more importantly, to talk to Rick Smith during this segment. One of the great teachers in the game since 2000 has been ranked in the top 10 in terms of instructors on the planet. And I tell you, he's just got so much knowledge as far as the game is concerned. He's brought that to Southern Florida, to Trump National Doral and the Golf Performance Center there. Rick, welcome to the program.
Oh, Dave, thank you. I know we do go way back. I was excited to hear that you were going to be the host of the show. And, you know, I've known you and I've known your father for so many years. And it's wonderful. And I'm happy that you're doing so well in the golf industry, you know.
Well, I appreciate that. And frankly, a lot of it comes from some of the leeway, leniency, knowledge that was shared with me and shown to me by people who were pals of Dad's, and I was trying to find my feet at Golf Channel, here on the radio here as well, as you changed different parts of your career. And you were a part of that early on for me at Golf Channel in my first big interviews on Golf Talk Live, and I appreciated the patience you had with me and just the fantastic time I had in that hour we got to chat. To me, it was very important, and I appreciated your leniency with my questions and things along those lines.
No, you were great, and you were, you know, you're part of what's so important in today's world about growing the game. And I mean, I think it's kind of I feel like I have a responsibility to grow the game. I think you do. You probably feel that way too. And we're trying to get people to understand that, you know, hey, we can take rocket science and turn it into some fun stuff. And it's great for families. It's great for just, you know, long life. And what a better way to, you know, enjoy one's life when you have the time or take the time. And there's just some great things going on with golf right now. And you've certainly been part of that, you know, and it's fun to feel part of it.
Yeah, it sure is. And one thing I've always noticed from you is the passion that you have about the game and being at the level you are in terms of being a teacher, instructor, and a mover within the game. You still just love that grassroots, getting the next guy to be a little bit better, the next person, next lady to come along and enjoy the game just a little bit more, growing the game and just being a part of the game. It's something that's been infectious in terms of spending time with you. And it seems like now at Trump National Doral, you've been given a pretty good opportunity to do that even on steroids. Tell us about the Performance Center there.
You know, that's well said. I think for me, you know, this was when this opportunity, you know, came open, and obviously, you know, Jim McLean was here. I've known him for so many years, and when he was, you know, he was here for 26 years or something like that. It reminded me of being in a place for a long time, and you know, he's not here, so it was a great opportunity for me to come in and do a lot of the things that you just said. I mean, I feel like it's going to be, if it's not already, it's going to be, it's arguably the best facility in the world. And what we're putting into it, not just great teachers, but technology and all the measuring data devices that we have are things that, you know, I back years ago, as you know, I remember being at Scioto Country Club at River Oaks in Houston and standing on the range with a camera that was the size of a big TV, and then you had a shaft rod in the ground, and you used your eyes and you used your knowledge, and you did that. Now there's so much technology, and I mean, at this facility, it's fun to have these toys, and they're toys that really make it better for, you know, everybody's different. People learn differently. Some people are really verbal. Some people are really analytical. Others are very artistic. And you try to find what a person is, you know, with their character and their mind and how they best learn. And so these devices, like we've got a rowboat. We've got the rowboat that Bryson DeChambeau that just lives on. Well, part of what was so cool about the Robo, this is an amazing machine that I can create any swing pattern that I want. And in golf, when things are wrong, 90% of the world swings over the top of it, and on the way down, they come over and cut across it. Well, I can create a reverse pattern of that on the Robo and create repetitions, slow repetitions or even faster ones that allow me to kind of get involved in some other things that otherwise, you don't like to say too many things because people get confused by it. So they get a sense and a feel, and then all of a sudden they go out and hit some shots. So things like that are amazing. We're actually getting a new system that's going to be the only one on the East Coast, and it's done by Gears. And Gears is a three-dimensional situation that you can look at your swing when you're hitting it great, which I think that data is fantastic to be able to see when you're hitting it well, let alone, okay, everybody says, well, okay, we get to see our swing when it's not good. We get to fix it. But how about when it feels good? Why is it good? Why are things going so well? And I've said that to the guys on tour. Hey, guys, you're welcome to come down and get measured and when you're hitting it great so that we have that data for the rest of your life, And I talked to Phil the other day about it, and he's getting ready for his big match with Tiger, and I said, you got to get in here. I said, wouldn't you love to have your 2004 golf swing? And he goes, oh, God, I'd love it because that's the best. That was the best year of his life. And we talk about it. It was the year he won his first Masters. And to be able to come to this incredible facility, the Golf Performance Center. And the reason I call it that is because it's certainly more than an academy. We've got high definition, the simulator company that is just, it's fun. You can hit balls through windows. You can play any golf course, and the visuals are amazing. So we've got all the technology, and we're going to keep growing with all the technology that is required, we feel, to better communicate to everyone.
So let me go back one quick sec. 2004, Phil Mickelson. You can bring him in and show him all the data and show him his 2004 swing in a different way than he's been able to see it in the past, so he can get back to when he was at his best?
That's exactly what this situation is. I mean, we can plug in data, but part of what I'm saying for the future, I mean, he would die to be able to have his 04. Mm-hmm. The next step is to be able to take the Gears technology, run it through a CAD engineering system that then talks to the robot, and the robot then makes those swings. You get in there when you're off, and you make a swing that feels exactly how it felt. That's the kind of data center that we're creating down here. That's my objective, and I want everybody to feel like, oh my gosh, there's nothing like this. And here I am, a field guy. I'm a field teacher. I'm, I know there's a million ways to play. We don't create a mold and say, this is your style, this is your method. It's like, look, I look back at Raymond Floyd. I worked with Raymond years ago, and I'll never forget, he used to, he'd come over to Tiburon where we were at the Ritz in Naples back years ago. And you talk about different ways, and still, that's my point. Today, you see it still, like back in the days of Trevino. Watching Trevino, he used to come up and the treetops when I used to be there. I'm not there anymore. But when I used to be there, they'd come up to the par 3 shootout, and I had built that 9-hole par 3 course that was really scenic, and we used to have that match. And, look at the styles that have been successful, and I've never really ever gotten away from that. And I think that is, for me, it's something that I've proved that, for example, I'll never forget talking to Zinger at the PGA in '93 when he won there, and he wanted to keep his ball flight down. And then I look at Brendan Steele now, one of my students. He's got the strongest grip you've ever seen, but you can work a swing around things, and you make things work, and I call them compatible variations, where you can make things work. And certainly there's fundamentals that you have to have, but it's fun to have some variety, and it allows people to kind of be who they are, but get some success and not totally tear themselves down to where they can't play at all. And that gets back to growing the game. How are we going to do that if they're all complicated and frustrated?
and you get field players in there whose numbers may be fairly radically different from other or standards or optimal numbers, but if you get them back in there in the robo, they'll feel when they're back to their optimum swing and optimum perspective. So it sounds tremendous. 866-469-0026. We are talking to Rick Smith, 866-469-0026. Don't miss the opportunity to call in with your questions for one of the greatest instructors in the history of the game, in the top 10 for going on 20 years now. And you talk about, Rick, the Performance Center down there, and your signature series in golf instruction began long time ago. Now you're really putting your stamp on this Performance Center. Where would you say this ranks in the overall kind of career that you've had, entrepreneur, golf course design, helping and teaching grow the game, helping top players in the game? Where does this fit in your career?
It's about as high as you can get, because first of all, over the last, since 1985, I've been doing this. 1982 actually, and I have never had a facility like this in my life. I mean, it was a tent. It was a very small building that didn't have anything like it. So what a better way to say, hey, I'm going to finish out my life in probably the best experience and best place in the world. And I was flattered, that I was asked. And the Trump family was fantastic. And to say, hey, this gives you a chance to showcase what you believe, and it's just it's a dream. It truly is. It's a dream that I have never had this. So, and I've had some really fun decades, in the early 90s when my first student that was 15 years old wins 2 U.S. Opens in the 90s, Lee Jansen, 93, 98. Rocco Media, who I taught back, the irony there is still working with him hard and going back to what we used to do in the 80s, who was a roommate of Lee Jansen at the time. And, Rocco won here. I'll never forget being with him here at Doral, and he won the Doral tournament. And so there's a lot of special things. I remember Gary Nicholas won he got his tour card here, and I spent a good week with him here, and the tournament was great. I was always here for every year during the great Doral, and I know they're talking about getting it. This place deserves an incredible tournament. Whether it's a PGA Championship or a World Golf Championship, the facility is amazing. I mean, they put just hundreds of millions into this, and it's about as good as I've ever seen. It's just, if you haven't been here, you have to come, because it's just so much better than it used to be, and it was good then. And so now it's just everything, from the hotel to the spa to the golf courses to just the caliber of everything, the food. This whole experience is it's very special.
Always has been, really.
Really pleased.
Always has been special down there, and you mentioned PGA Championship. A lot of people have kind of stressed on, wow, if moving the PGA Championship to May, that's going to make it dicey maybe for Beth Page in 2019, really going to be an issue for Rochester in future years. What's that going to do to these classic PGA Championship venues? But from my perspective, they've had the opportunity to host those venues, host those championships in August, can still host potentially U.S. Opens in June going down the road. Who knows? But the PGA of America has opened up places like Doral for a national championship, a major championship. It'll be very interesting to see in May. Still terrific weather, starting to get a little warm down in the very tip of Florida there, but certainly would be a great place to have and open up that market, really, to major championship golf. Hasn't been a major since Larry Nelson won at the PGA Championship back in 1987 in West Palm Beach. So I'd love to see that. And you mentioned how Doral is just a terrific place to go, and even better than it used to be. My family used to split up after my parents got divorced. We would go visit Dad at a different tournament each year, and my brother got to go to the PGA Championship because he was born the day Dad won the PGA. My sister would go to the Open Championship because girls always get to go do the best things. But but mine was Doral. It was a great little sort of springtime escape from school and get to go visit with Dad. I just loved coming down there. And you're saying it's even better now and good enough for you to even move down here. So you do think you might finish your career?
Yeah. About my commitment, and I said, I'm not just going to put my name on it. I'm going to be here, and it is my life. And then, I take that, and then ironically, we're Phil Mickelson. I'm his golf design partner, and we're building some fun projects. Just finished one in Calgary, Canada, and we're going to do one in Bali, Indonesia, which is not a short jaunt, but it's going to be amazing. And that's really how I ended up getting involved here. I got to know the family, and it's just been a great relationship, and the kids are amazing, and became very, very close to them. And I told them, I said, I won't disappoint you. I'm going to commit, my so much time to it. And like I told you, it's just, I've got some of the best teachers in the world that I've worked with before for many years, and I believe their personalities are such that I like it to where, for me, it is about making learning more fun. And there's a reason people, I think, weren't getting in the game. I mean, you look at the people that were always measured by score all the time. And, after being in Scotland here, I go to, I'll never forget it now. I went to Prestwick, and they had 12 holes at Prestwick in the first 13 British Opens were played at Prestwick. And I'm going, whatever happened to 12 holes? You talk about the perfect scenario where people in our world today, they don't have time for 18 holes a lot of times. So I encourage people to go play 9 holes, go play 3 holes, go play anything. And it's not just about score. It's about enjoying people you're with. You can create matches. Over in Scotland, and Dave, as you know, in Ireland both, where all this started, they have like one stroke play event per month. Everything is match play. And I love that because it's not when you get done. We were playing at Lahinch and Ballybunion this summer, and everybody is really, when they're done, they're all having a few pints and they're laughing and they're having a great time. And not one person says to the other person, hey, what'd you shoot today?
Yeah.
They basically say, did you have fun today? And every one of them did, even the ones that didn't play as well, because they either won the match or they lost the match. And if they lost the match, nobody talks about score. And I think everybody out there needs to learn to have a little bit more fun because they don't have the time to practice every day. Practicing every day, playing competitively every day. Then, hey, measure yourself with score a little bit more. But if you're just getting into the game, and I'm an advocate of just subsets of the game. 3 holes is great. 6 holes is great. If you can figure out a way to do that, you're going to stay in the game and you're going to learn it with a I think more passion and more less pressure to get better. And I think that's part of what I think teaching is so important, that you're telling that person you've got your own book. We're going to write your own book, and if you pay attention to these things, you're going to get better. And you're going to grow, and you're going to feel like you're going to enjoy the game more. And that's what I'm trying to teach all the teachers that are with me to feel the same way. And I think that's what's going to be happening. It's already happening. And people are coming back, and after they've had an experience that was fun. And again, it's part of the process. What are all these guys on tour? You hear the word. Tiger says it all the time, and I'm really happy for him that he's, people talked to me back in January, and I said, one, he will come back. He's too talented. He's got a great mind, and if his body's okay, he will be back, and I'm excited he is back. He's a reason that he always talked about the process, and he said, I really enjoy the process. And you hear that with successful players over these last 4 decades. Jack used to love the process. And he would stay fresh because he did enjoy it. He'd start off in that January and, back with Jack Grout and start with his setup and his grip and his posture and then his swing path and, just things he'd kind of recharge himself. And those that enjoy the process end up enjoying the game more. And they accept the bad with the good. And that's, I think, so important and a common theme that we keep hearing.
Absolutely. If you grow the enjoyment in the game at the grassroots and amateur level, you're certainly going to continue to grow the game itself, which is something that seems to be happening at your performance center. Let's talk a little bit about how folks might be able to enjoy it. What does that look like? Do you come down and play the course, then go over to the performance center? Do you stay there and go exclusively to the performance center? What kind of packages and things are set up to enjoy your time down there?
We've got a lot of packages, but the one that we just launched actually yesterday was a Stay, Play, Learn package. And it basically, they come in for a couple of days and they play, the Blue Monster and another course. And then they take, a 3.5-hour session. And that 3.5-hour session is to whet their appetite. And, then we can offer playing lessons, which is fantastic, which is such a critical part of learning to play. It's like, okay, I'm hitting balls on a range. How do I take it to the course? And so we've got all the different packages that really allow you to enjoy the golf, the hotel, and then, go out in whether it's an hour or 3.5 hours. The package we just started was to Stay, Play, Learn, and it's at a very good price, and it's kind of a holiday package, and I think we'll do very well with that, and it's just going to create from that to a 2-day school to a 3-day school to we're trying to really implement more of the playing lesson side, with teaching and creating that blend. We don't want people to hit balls for 9 hours, and we don't think that's even possible. People get tired, and we like to mix it up where the short game is critical. We work on that aspect of the game and putting and we've got a lot of interesting ways to depending on the person's time. There's some people that want a school that goes for 5 days, and we've got that. So it's just great to have a great facility that goes along with it. And we have all different groups. We've got gals only, we've got seniors only, we have the guys only. It depends on the level of player that they are, and there's usually a mix. You'll get some buddies where some are lower handicap and some are really higher handicap. And you always ask that person, what time do you have when we're done with all this, to put into, your practice? How often do you practice? How often do you play? And some people go, I play once every 3 months, and so you try to create a kind of a program that they can grasp and hold on to. And in the end, frankly, after seeing all these wonderful, like the MD Anderson, you think about how many people's lives that they have saved. And when I looked at the MD Anderson and I looked at these Mayo clinics and I look at these things that are so special, I said, when I look back at the game in these last 40 years and I look at the areas that the best players have really gotten good at, one was obviously their swing, 2 was their short game, which was part of it, but 3, they were fitted properly, and we've got TrueSpec as a partner here that we can fit people. We can try different shafts. We can look at different, we can try any equipment, which has always been part of the tour. Then you look at the physical aspect of your body. Do I have speed? Do I have flexibility? Am I injured? Well, how can I work around that? So your body's a big part of it. I call them the pillars. If you go on my website, and the Rick Smith, GPC.com, the 6 pillars, and basically you've got the body, you've got the mind. I want to be able to take out some of my buddies that I've known forever on the PGA Tour, bring them in and have some, have these guys come in as guests and gals, guest instructors, and we put them all to where you're coming in for 3 or 4 days and you're going to get basically your body evaluated. You're going to have your mind setting goals. How do you create expectations? Do you set realistic goals? Are they stepping stones? What are your long-term goals? How to play on the course under pressure? All those areas are what make these guys so great. So to be able to have that At this facility, which is the ultimate, and that's where I'm going with this, is I have a chance to do that. I haven't had a chance to do that before. And that's going to really make it fun. So as extensive as you want to be, or you want to make it fun and you just want to learn the game and get on the robo and feel what the motion feels like. You've never hit a ball in your life. You want to get the ball in the air. And, that is fun. And it's fun to see people do that for the first time. Where, you work with tour players a lot, and obviously their expectations are very high, and they got to have perfection, and that's what they search for. But when you see the common golfer that has been slicing it or hitting behind it or topping it and doing different things, and all of a sudden they start to create some pattern that is really making them smile, makes them happy. It's what drives us still today.
Well, it's the next level of golf and golf instruction. It certainly is. The Rick Smith Golf Performance Center at Trump National Doral opened January 1st of this year. You're coming up on your first anniversary. Thanks for all you do with the game, for the game, and for those of us who love it as well. Glad you're enjoying Southern Florida and Trump National Doral. Thanks so much, Rick. Dave,
thank you, and I can't wait to see you when you're flying through this area. You got to come and see us, and I would love to have you here. And we'll hit a few balls while you're down here.
Absolutely. I'll stay, play, and learn, and then I'll leave refreshed, relaxed, and then I'll return. So certainly going to Southern Florida. If you're in that area, make sure you look up Rick Smith at the Rick Smith Golf Performance Center at Trump National Doral. More with Mornings with Mar when we come back.